Hello. Today I would like to talk about change. If we look at change from the perspective of how our world looks like today, as compared the world when your parents or your grandparents were your age, you can see that the world is changing and it's changing continuously and very rapidly. Same as with nature. Look at the trees and the flowers and everything, how it's different all the time. But even we might not be aware of it, our bodies change. The cells in our body, they continuously, renew. So everything in our world, inside and outside, is about change. So isn't it strange then that at school or at university or at work, we basically don't learn how to deal with change? Nobody tells you how to cope with change or maybe even create some change. These models are not part of the curriculum. So let me share what I think is a quite useful model. It's the conscious slash competent model. It sounds complicated, but it's really a very simple model. If I use the example of riding a horse, suppose you never rode on a horse. So when you have your first lesson or your first experience with sitting on a horse, you immediately feel that you were first unconsciously incompetent. You didn't know that it was so difficult. You didn't know that it was maybe so frightening, or maybe that it was so fun. So immediately you switch into being consciously incompetent. Like, holy moly, I got to learn a lot to learn how to stay on the horse, how to pull on the reins and how all these things work. And by practice and effort and experience and doing that repeatedly, you become more consciously competent. So you're like, hey, I know if I pull on the right rein, then the horse goes to the right, and if I pull on the left, it goes to the left, and if I pull too hard, it starts gone. So and again, if you continue doing it and enjoying it and working on it and practicing it, then at a certain point you become unconsciously competent. So there are 4 steps in this model which you can also apply to riding a bike or your first lesson in getting a driver's license for driving in a car. So that is just a normal change process. In the beginning, it feels very uncomfortable. But if you just continue with those steps, you know that at a certain point in time, you can just do it and you don't even need to think about it. But crucial is also that we make change easy. That we really take care of also creating a supportive environment for our change. What do I mean by that? Well, if you want to stop drinking alcohol, maybe it's not so good idea to keep your room which is above a bar, or seeing every night friends who still keep on drinking a lot. That makes it much harder. So maybe if you go to different environments, your change becomes easier. But in everything, it's like you have to be, it's like Gandhi who said, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want to contribute to a more environment friendly environment, more green and everything is more better in the environment, maybe you can start with eating vegan food only. Or maybe start with it just 1 day a week. Or you can, instead of going with your car even for just a few kilometers, you might take your bike or public transport. So these are all things where you can start practicing change. And I think we learned at school that change is an exception, but change is the rule in our society. It's continuous change is happening all the time. So we better learn how to deal with it. And yeah, changes at the beginning is uncomfortable, but that's just part of it. So maybe for next week you can try to do some what they call random acts of kindness. For instance, greet people you meet on the street, and not only your friends, but also strangers or elderly or children. Just say hello if you meet them on the street. That's it. Nothing else. Just have a smile and say hello. That would be a change in yourself, which also has a positive influence on the world. So have fun practicing this.